powerful. On the other hand, Caitlyn, definitely a target.
Yeah, they want to make sure that Wax is not available to play that one, or not allowed, rather. The Maokai ban, I think we've seen more of a priority on jungles and mids recently, so the fact that the Maokai ban has come out, Melty have just said, we want to put Kex off a tank, we want to put him on a little bit of an off tank, like the Trundle or the Nara, maybe we can duel him.
This feels to me as we see our second top lane ban coming in from Melty eSports in the form of the Trundle, responded with the Zillion. Maybe they want to give Adam the chance to shine, and maybe they're trying to ban a bunch of stuff out so that he can have some kind of optimal pick, because it's a lot of, I mean, technically Trundle is the flex, right? But it feels like a lot of top lane focus coming out.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Nara is still left available. We have seen Fiora come out a few days ago to trying to think of some of the other top lanes. I mean, that seems to be Echo as well. Echo is the other one. So I expect an Azir ban here from low priority. I mean, he is pretty strong. We did see him lose last game against Vladimir, but still a very strong, solid mid laner that I would be surprised if they left him.
And as we see Ryze banned out too. I mean, Victor, potentially another one you need to ban out as well. Very powerful overall.
Nidalee, Kindred, all the junglers are left available right now.
So the question is what is our first rotation going to be? We've seen Nidalee traded for Lucian a lot. Do you think it makes more sense for Melty to prioritize their AD carry or to maybe prioritize their jungle here?
I think that Ezreal has demonstrated that he can be a good matchup into the Lucian once you reach that mid-game point. So I think while the Lucian is very strong in the early game, especially with the new build that we've been seeing come out from him, it could be a priority. But with Kindred available, who's just has so much to offer from the jungle, I feel like Kindred needs to be the priority, but it's not going to be.
Well, we did forget about Azir a little bit. We talked about him, and then we're like, wait, just didn't consider him first pick.
Azir.
And we didn't expect him to be a first pick priority, but it looks like Melty clearly a lot of faith in Nisqy in the mid lane because they're first picking it, they're making that priority, and in exchange, they're definitely giving up the Braum, and I would guess that the Lucian is going to be the quick follow-up, and it is. This is a powerhouse bot lane, always has been, but maybe even more so now that Lucian has this new build path and it's just looked nearly unstoppable.
So you can just see power picks being traded all across the board right now because of the bans like the Caitlyn, like the Zillion, not traditional bans that we used to see.
Trundle, I would say. I mean, Trundle obviously a power pick, but not one we've seen much this tournament.
Yeah, there haven't been like power pick bans, and so there's like so many power picks now available open. Okay, yeah, we're going to give you the Azir, but we're going to pick up the Lucian Braum. So we're going to have a super strong bottom lane, you're going to have a super strong mid laner, and then Melty are now looking like, hey, we want to pick up a super strong jungler now as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they decide to lock the Kindred here, but they have a lot of options. Nidalee also on the table, and that's kind of the comfort moment for low priority, though, is they know they can take the strongest bot lane they can make, which at this point appears to be the Lucian and the Braum, and they're still going to have access to mid lane picks, access to jungle picks, because there's so much on the table. But as I say that, of course, Melty have now locked in their second rotation, and it is going to be that Sivir and that Kindred coming out.
So the Sivir acting as a nice engage, given that when you have this AD carry in the jungle, and with someone like the Maokai icon from the top lane, you're kind of lacking that hard, reliable CC that you need to kick off a fight, and when you have that on the hunt available, you can just be like, right, they're going to go anywhere near that dragon, pop that engagement, we're ready to go. So I do like the Sivir. You can lane swap up against the Lucian if you want to, if you just want to avoid the 2v2. It is quite a rough matchup. I guess it's a rough matchup for anyone going into that Lucian. So, but you also have plenty of wave clear, so as long as you have a strong range support to back you up, like something like the Bard we used to see quite a lot of. We haven't seen much of it this tournament, but Bard Sivir should be able to hold its own and just keep a lot of pressure, keeping that wave shoved up.
Yeah, Bard, I mean, very strong level 1, not always the strongest laner overall, but I mean, Sivir doesn't really need it, right? She's just going to push. That's going to be her name in the game if she doesn't want to fight. But now have the second rotation coming in from low priority. Gragas going to be picked up for that jungle spot and for Memento. This is a breakout pick in the tournament, I would say, and one that Memento has put to very good use.
I like it a lot into the Kindred. When we saw low priority play against the Fnatic Academy earlier on in the tournament, this is what he picked. He picked that Gragas into the Kindred. And how can you forget that beautiful Gragas ultimate that he got onto Impaler that knocked him just out of range of the Lambda Spike to guarantee that kill. So having that displacement is going to work wonders against the Kindred. And on top of that, the hard engage that Melty tried to set up can be heavily denied by this disengage. And have a look at all the zone control that you have from low priority. The ultimate from Braum, the so many zone control skills that Victor has.
Yeah, and it just seems so hard not only to get on top of these guys, but if Gragas ever knocks you into that team, you're never making it back out. And you can see brief Talia hover over. Of course, disabled if you're just joining us. This is 6'10", Urgot and Talia both off the table. No one's picking them up. They are permabanned at this stage. But final rotation, interesting enough.
Oh, those are locked in.
Yeah, it's going to be the Morgana, most likely going into the bot lane. And Gangplank for top and for Adam. This is a very interesting pick, but most of the top laners are taken out of the pool.
So, yeah, we were discussing this. So with a lot of top laners gone, you have to wonder, well, what do they go for next? The Gnar is something that we've been seeing a lot of with the Echo Band as well. I guess it's kind of been these four, hasn't it? The Trundle, the Maokai, the Echo, and the Gnar. So Melty has said, okay, let's go a little bit old school. Let's go for the Gangplank. We have seen him mids, not too long. I believe we saw him mid at MSI. And at that point, it worked relatively well, from what I can remember. So Melty saying, hey, we want a little bit more impact up in the top lane. We want to have that threaten. We're seeing a LeBlanc, a Fiora versus Gangplank matchup. This is, I'm sure, a matchup that a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah, this is... Wait, is this 6'10", 5'18"? Where are we at again? No, I mean, really interesting picks. The big thing that jumps out at me on the side of Melty is that they don't have a tank.
No, they do not have a solid front line, but they do have the Lamb's Respite. They also have a fair amount of crowd control. If we just think about the Morgana Ultimate, you want to dive into that team? Well, you're going to have to get through that CC. You're going to have to get through a Gangplank Ultimate.
Of course, yeah, the Emperor's Divide. So both of these teams seem to have a ton of zone control.
They certainly do, and I think these fights are actually going to be quite explosive, because if you just think about the wide areas that both teams are looking to try and control, it's going to be these, I think, pretty heavy team fights that we look to see. Alternatively, what could end up happening is you see a 4-1 coming up from both teams, because both Gangplank and Fiora, pretty good split pushes. So maybe we'll see a little bit more emphasis on the Rift Herald and that Glimpse of the Void buff, because if a Gangplank gets that, you know, you have to be a little bit more...
Every time those corruption stacks, he's a melee champion, but he can shoot you, and it will proc the corruption stacks.
But then same for the Fiora. We saw that go up against the Echo, and how she used her fancy feet to just push that Echo back all the time.
Yeah, incredible mechanical display of skill. And, I mean, you can see the team comps again as they come out here. Really a lot of power. And one of the things I want to focus in on, again, we talked about Sebex as one of the stronger members of the team, and this is his pick. Since Victor has been strong, this has been his go-to mid laner, and he got this one completely uncontested.
He certainly did. Unfortunately, the Victor versus Azir matchup not as exciting as some other matchups. It's very farm-heavy. Interesting to note that Sebex has decided to run Teleport on the Victor, as opposed to something like the Cleanse and Barrier that we have been seeing. But I expect this to be a pretty exciting match. Melty, they have nothing to lose. They're 0-3. LP, they have everything to lose. So they definitely need to guarantee this victory.
Need to take this one seriously. Of course, it is going to be France's own Melty eSports on the blue side. And low priority, the #1 seed from the EU West Open Qualifier coming in as well. Melty, a team that's been suffering. Low priority, the team that's been dominating. You can see both sides setting up the point lines of scrimmage. Bringing out the Fnatic Gragas too from Memento.
So, very likely that low priority want to get some deep vision down. They want to check whether or not Melty look for a lane swap. Always a possibility. When you do have the Morgana Sivir, it's an okay 2v2. You do have... the problem is, against the Lucian, it's just... You're going to struggle. It's just kind of how bottom lane works right now. So Melty could very well try to avoid that. So low priority wanting the 2v2, just want to make sure that they keep an eye out on where Melty's bottom lane is going so that they can react accordingly. Meanwhile, the 1v1 with the Fiora versus the Gangplank, I'd give a slight advantage over to the Gangplank very early on. I think that the Fiora gets a little bit stronger, a little bit quicker. Once she has her first 2 items, but then once you start hitting 3 items, 4 items, I think it becomes very much a skill matchup, and it's an exciting top lane for sure. At least it very well used to be.
Yeah, it's not long gone now are the days of the matchup where tanks would just hit each other and do no damage. Both of these guys have insane amounts of kill pressure on the other. Maybe not right away at the level 1, but we will see it start to explode. You can see Lucian now committed to the top side as Zaitan pokes his head into this jungle. Ready to mess with these guys. Make sure the jungle push is slowed down.
Okay, so this is actually, I believe, low priority's 3rd lane swap of the tournament. 3 out of 4, they've actually set this one up. And it's interesting, the way they've executed it has been ever so slightly different every single time. They've sent Braum in to try and control the blue buff. They want to make sure that they can pick that one up for themselves. Then what they're going to do is they're going to actually move in and steal away the blue buff rather than start on their red. This is a little bit unconventional to what you see because typically what you want to do is pick up the buff on your half of the map, then rotate around with your laner to pick up that second buff, and then your jungler can continue to farm in the enemy's top half while your top laner then regroups up with your laners. You can see Keck's been given a couple of the small camps or some of the small monsters alongside the camp. And he has instantly rejoined his group to start that push. They want to get this tempo advantage so that they can set up for the siege, rotate around their lanes, and then, you know, get that turret advantage.
Yep. Great way to get the start up. Melty off to a solid start thus far. I mean, it's 3 minutes in the game, so obviously not a whole lot of kill pressure anywhere outside of junglers paying some attention. But Adam, Wox, Kurdos send it upon this tower, starting to burn it down. Same is true on the opposite side. Of course, Lucian with that double tap, clearing it out just a little bit quicker.
So what you want to be doing when you are setting up for these lane swaps is use your abilities as often as possible to clear out the wave. Notice Fiora using her Q whenever it's up to just get a bit of extra damage down on the minions. Same for Lucian using his Q as well to clear out as many minions, then using his passive to hit onto the turret because you want to get the turret down as quickly as possible. Both teams going to be taking that turret, and then they are likely to drop a deep ward just up the lane because they want to see who's going to be returning. So they want to know if the top laner is going to be returning, you want to have the lane wave pushing in your favor so that you can deny them as much as possible. But both sides of the map are going to identify what the laners are doing. They're going to delay the shove, and then the lane is going to start pushing towards the bottom lane that are likely to return. The big thing to note is this is what's slightly different compared to lane swaps that we saw in 6.8. The Dragon. If it's the Infernal Dragon, teams to be putting a lot of priority on it. But this does mean that you are going to lose some tempo. You're not going to be able to return to lane as fast as you normally would. And so we'll have to see how much this Dragon is actually going to benefit Melty moving forward.
Of course, very potentially powerful Dragon. We've seen what it can do in the late game. Maybe not so strong early on. As you said, we'll lose a little bit of tempo for this. A little bit more time that Fiora can just free farm up on the top side of the map. Although the CS remains relatively even. Moving back in.
So this is interesting because what you would see in a normal lane swap is you then send your bottom lane up to the top if you're Melty, and you start to siege up onto the tier 1. Because they went for the Dragon, they've actually sent their bottom lane back, and they're going for the 2 versus 2 play. So this is quite smart from them. They realize that if they go for the swap back, they're going to lose out on their tempo. Their bottom lane is going to get to the top very, very slowly. And so they've just said, okay, we're going to take the Drake, we're going to go back for standard lanes, and it's not going to hurt us that much because we have the wave clear from Sivir, and we're going to be fine. So now we have returned back to this standard lane.
And of course, Pool coming in from Morgana as well. No hopes for those creeps at this stage of the game. Both AD carries opting for the early Cole. Double Dorans on each side in the mid lane. But Fiora's getting aggressive here. There is a jungler over that wall, though. She's looking for the duel. Nero comes in, moving forward. Mounting Dread is going to be placed down. I don't think Kex is going to be able to make it out of this one. First blood going over to Melty and the Kindred.
So this is the risk that you run when your opponents pick up the Drake and decide to actually go for the standard lane matchups again. That means that Kex is in a situation where the wave is shoved up and he has to push it under the turret. You need to call your jungler there to help you out so that you can get the wave bouncing back, or you end up just sitting there on the lane by yourself, overextending, moving past the river and leaving yourself at a potential risk of a gank. Because of that, Neru saw the opportunity, he went over the wall, collapsed down onto Kex, and now Adam is able to set up a freeze in the top lane. So this is going to hurt Kex horribly going up against Melty.
Yeah, Kex may want to be getting something back though. Looking to hurt Nero. That's a lot of damage. Ultimate Flash is going to be able to make it over the Dance Arrow. Almost thought it was the Flail Flash, but does manage to make it out. Not more than a quick change of cooldowns, but low priority. Looking to get some kills, looking to even this up.
Nero walking up saying, "Can I have this mark, please?" And then being like, "No, get out of my jungle." Forcing the flash out of him. Really nice stuff. Nice response coming out from low priority to maintain control of their half of the map. They don't want to give away any more of a deficit, but Melty want to try and create a deficit LP.
Binding, you can hear it land on Braum. Zaitan getting pushed back. Niski is level 6. He's looking for the play. Is going to not shove it back. Flash back. Heal comes out. They're going to grab the kill. That one goes over to Sivir. She's looking to make it 2. Binding will land in the end, and they're going to give that one over to the jungler. Melty 3-0 up, just 7 minutes in this game.
Where have this Melty been? Atom right now. He's in a little bit of trouble, but he should be able to get out of this one. Mentor level 6.
Ooh. Flash does manage to make it out of that one. Knows the cask is coming. Good use there.
Really impressive stuff coming out from Melty. As you just said, 3-0 on the board right now. Moving around to the bottom half of the map to set up that dive, knowing that low priority had no turret. Melty just playing the map really well. They're looking at things, evaluating where's the best to invest Nero's time, and making things work for themselves. Nice play from Niski, putting himself in a position to land the Emperor's Divide. He knows that Hiku is going to try and flash the ult, so he holds it. And he's basically saying, you're going to flash, because if you don't, we're just going to kill you anyway. So he ends up getting both summoners as well as the double kill. So really impressive stuff coming out from Melty. Have a look at this. He puts himself in a position you'd expect the ult here. He holds it. Then he uses the flash, guarantees that he's going to land that Emperor's Divide, followed up by the flash binding from Morgana. That's a very easy double kill for Melty.
Great patience, good clean play coming in from the side of Melty. Not something we would normally attribute to them. They're making their way up. Things are working out. Adam taking just a little bit of XP, maybe hoping to get this blue buff. Memento is going to smite it out.
So notice now that LP changing things up by having Memento hang around the top half of the map. That is allowing Kex to play past the river. It means that he has a little bit more safety, a little bit more security with his jungler there, and he's unlikely to get ganked once again by Nero. And that is basically mitigating the fact that Adam is able to freeze the wave pretty much underneath his turret.
True, but now we see the result is that Melty are able to freely own the bottom side of the map. Looking to make sure that the blue trade is even in the end. This one going over to Niski. Mid laner instead of jungler, and he's going to go back to the mid lane to make sure Victor can clear that out, but have to keep our eyes on Memento, as you said. Could be looking to make another aggressive play. Can go mid, can go top, has the cask at his disposal.
So the question is, what can Melty do moving forward? They have a nice advantage. Nero, he's looking for a gank in the mid.
Sebix. Ward does spot out Nero. They're going to move in.
Ooh.
Not going to commit the ult quite yet. No, he misses the ult. Sebix dishing out so much damage. Lamb's Respite actually going to keep him alive, but Memento's here on the backside. He's ready. He's letting them duel it out. 1v1 in the middle lane. Memento moving in, hoping for another kill. Flash forward from Fiora. They're going to move it up. Cannon Barrage is going to trade one back, but LP grabbed two in the exchange.
Nice response from LP and a massive misplay from Neski. He tries to make the Shurima Shuffle work onto Sebix, and it fails abysmally. He doesn't even slightly land that Emperor's Divide. He ends up being so overextended with absolutely no flash, and what was a fantastic start from Melty have now given low priority a route back into this game.
Absolutely, and Kex feeling confident throws down the grand challenge. Moving forward, Gangplank trying to get some damage down, but the quick dash from Kex. Riposte is going to land the slow.
Red
Adam
buff.
in trouble. Red buff ticking down, as you said. One more vital point. Kex waiting. He wants to make it under tower. He is going to grab the kill in the end. The 1v1 duels coming out across the map.
Wow, so we're going to have a replay, then we can transition into that. Look at this. Nero just putting a bit of poke down. Niski completely misreading the situation. Absolutely massive misplay. The Lamb's Respite being forced to use just to keep him alive, but Memento has already flanked around, identifying the play. You also have the teleport coming in from Kex just to guarantee that kill. And he's quickly able to pick up that red buff. Yes, Melty were able to get one kill in return, but the fact that you gave that red buff over to Fiora meant that she could just stick to Adam. And remember, Adam, he'd already used his flash earlier to avoid that gank from Memento. So impressive capitalization from Kex to be able to pick up that kill.
Overall, very much so. Kex now 2-1 and 0. You can see Tiamat completed up, and he's finishing a lot more of the core itemization. But Kindred does manage to sneak another dragon. Double Infernal Drake coming in for Melty already.
Yeah, 16% additional AD and AP at 10 minutes into the game. Already working towards that Firestorm that you can have available to you.
My favorite on Twitter was some guys like, we can call it my mixtape. And I was like, yes, yes. Like, it's not my mixtape, but it can be your mixtape, Mr. Twitter man. That is the best one I've heard so far.
Right, so looking right now at the map, the way in which everything is situated, Kex still way past the river, but he feels a lot more confident now that he has 2 kills under his belt, has completed the Tiamat along with the pickaxe, so he's working towards that very early Ravenous Hydra, which we usually do see on the Fiora. And once he's got that, he's going to feel way more superior to Adam, who is yet to complete his Trinity Force.
Yeah, building close, 2 pieces, of course, up. So not really an insane difference between these two at this stage of the game. 10 CS lead for Gangplank, balancing out most of that gold difference. But you can see mid lane, Melty trying to make some moves. Victor taking up the Raptor camps, trying to get a lead. You can see the 12 CS difference here. And the bot lane, really the big talking point, because Lucian is up 20 CS at this point in the game and is working towards that Youmuu's.
He certainly is. He's just been pretty much sitting in the bottom half of the map because it has been shoved up a lot by Melty. As you mentioned earlier, all of the jungle pressure from Memento is in the top half of Melty's jungle, which allowed Melty to be hyper-aggressive in that bottom half of the map. And they were just constantly shoving up, trying to get a bit of damage down onto the tier 2. But when you're going up against a Lucian who does have relatively good wave clear, it can be a little bit difficult. It's Adam forced to ult.
Oh, trying to move forward, but he may have overstayed. Parry, beautiful. Is he going to get the healing back? No, Adam's still going to grab the kill. TP coming in, Lamb's respite goes down. Adam trying to make it back to the safety of the team. Is Memento in trouble? He's going to try to burn this one out. Adam's still alive. He's not going to make it through, but at the end of the day, Sebix is now the one in trouble. Kindred jumping through, extra AD, extra AP, minions hitting home. Sebix, he has the vision. He's trying to make it to safety. He's running out. He's coming in. No! Death Ray living up to its name. But meanwhile, Melty are moving in on the mid lane. Sivir on the bottom side. Melty actually coming ahead in this play.
Oh, that was such a nice play overall from Melty. 2 versus 3, able to get themselves 2 kills. And a little bit unfortunate for Nero. I feel like if he'd committed a little bit harder, maybe he could have traded the 1-for-1. Overall, it would have been 2 for 3, which they could have been happy with. But the overarching thing is the fact that Melty drew 4 members of low priority up to the top half of the map. And now Kexi wants to try and get some vengeance.
Oh, Binding's blocked out, but he can't block the chains too. He is going to get locked down. Gragas moving in. No cask for him quite yet, but Kex is hungry for blood. Dashing forward. Memento does have the flash. Moving in. One more dash blade work. Not going to be enough. Melty going to walk away with their lives, and LP hungry to make it back. 2K gold lead now for Melty. We're 13 minutes in, and we'll get another look at this beautiful play.
So have a look at this from Adam. He is playing really well. With picking up the Sheen, he has a little bit more damage. The crit from the barrel is really what turned the fight in his favor, and just as he gets knocked back, he's able to land the parlay. Nero comes in from the river with a very clutch Lamb's respite to keep his teammate alive, and Adam, just eating that orange at the end, kept him alive slightly longer to get a bit of extra damage down here. Nero, I feel like if he just committed a little bit, he had the ward available too.
And he runs back, he wants the kill, but he queues here for the punish. And I mean, at the end of the day, low priority doing well to pick up the kills that they did, but you can see the difference in pressure across the map because Sivir was able to take down that tier 2 tower, and this is why Melty now have a gold lead. And we have to think, LP, this game is everything for them. If they win this, they are guaranteed first seed in their group. Guaranteed. If they lose, things get a lot more complicated. They just need to play a little bit better here in terms of map pressure. Because individually, they're making these amazing plays, beautiful mechanics, but their map play not on point this time around.
And just,
Stream a shuffle. Not going to be enough. Good flash from Sebix. He knew that one wasn't going to be a whiff.
Well, he is going to trade a flash for just the ultimate from Niski, so I think he can be pretty happy with that trade overall. Could look to make that play once again. Notice now that Sivir and Morgana have been rotated up to the top half of the map, starting to put a little bit more pressure down onto Kex, and that allows Adam to just free from the bottom lane jungle.
Memento going forward. No! Body slam to the wall, flash over, not going to be enough. Oh, Nero in trouble. Lamb's respite does go down. Heq. It's a lot of damage. There's no way. The Kindred not going to survive here in the end. Heq going to grab that kill. The fight continues, though. Morgana trying to burn through this support. Kurdos running for his life. Flash over from Lucian. That's the double kill. Looking to make it 3. Zaitan looking for the lockup. Gonna lock him down. Triple kill coming out for the Lucian. LP once again in the driver's seat.
So this time, Melty feeling very confident, send 2 of their members up to the top half of the map. What they don't expect is the collapse coming out from low priority. The thing is, for Adam, he still has his teleport available, and he doesn't decide to join the fight. This is going to allow low priority to pick up that Rift Herald, and this is something that you and I were worried about prior to coming into this game.
And this game has been so explosive, nearly a kill a minute, that when they went for that, I was like, they're going to trade Baron. It's only 16 minutes in. This is the Rift Herald being traded over, but it means another mid lane tower is dropped, and LP once again trading individual power for objectives across the map.
So just have a look at the positioning on the map. Melty realized that the collapse is coming out from low priority, but they're quite divided. Nero just sitting in this brush isn't actually able to provide any support for his bottom lane, so he's forced into a 1 versus 2. He almost gets the damage down onto Heq, but the exhaust actually prevents him from being able to get anything back. Memento, even though he dies by so much time and forces Wax to burn all of his summoners, that results in low priority being able to pick up the triple kill for Heq, which is absolutely massive for Lucian at 16 minutes.
Binding goes down. Are they going to be able to get it? Shurima Shuffle knocks him back. They've got the team fight, but Niski is all alone. Sebix dropped as well. Memento moving forward. Things starting to break down. down for Melty. On the hunt, burned. On the run, more like it, as they start to push in. Nero still sneaking this. This is the third Infernal Drake. He's actually going to get this. He flashes to safety. It was all an elaborate ruse. Melty walk away with the dragon, but at the end of the day, it's the 2-for-1 trade in favor of LP.
So while Low Priority were focusing on the fight, Nero was focusing on completing his mixtape. And now that he's got that one ready, they're going to have 24% additional AP and AD under their belt, which is going to help them so much moving towards the late game. Once they finish a few extra major items, just think about that. If you have 1,000 ability power, that's an extra 240 ability power that you have available to you.
That's an insane amount of scaling ability power. And the thing we have to remember, too, as we move further in this game is, look at that Sevix scoreline. What do you see, my friend?
He now has a KDA of 45.
Okay, I thought it would be, that would ruin things a little more. But he has finally gone down, and we're going to watch it happen here. It takes a binding from the brush. It takes a Shurima shuffle. And we're not even going to get the chance to look at it because Action is already competing. Heq, nice dash on that. Azir has to make the saving play. Laser not going to come over the wall. That is the shutdown. Gangplank picking up that one. Sevix and the rest of the team overstaying the welcome. Masturbator, dang it, Kurdos, just baiting the team in.
So while it was a nice dash, unfortunately that dash did result in his demise because he'd used his only escape route to actually just walk towards the rest of Melty. He invested so many resources onto that Morgana. The red buff wasn't enough. He ends up handing it back over now to the Gangplank, who's sitting at 3, 2, and 3, completed the Trini Force, and he's going to group up with Nero to get some damage down onto this tier 1 in the top.
Moving in, of course, LP. It's just a little bit of damage down. They are going to be able to hold on to this tower, but we don't really find these guys falling behind often, and if ever. They're now down 3K, and the improved AD and AP coming in from this team are going to make it very hard to play against, especially in the hands of champions like Sivert, like Gangplank, those late game crits. Nero, he's looking for the duel on the top laner, and it looks like he might be able to win this one out. Does he have the Lamb's Rest? But he's going to use it.
Wow.
Oh my god! Doesn't even need to. Grand Challenge finishes, but Fiora gets dueled out by the jungler.
Really nice play coming up from Nero. I mean, what else is there to say? He just straight up outplayed Kex, using that insane maneuverability coming out from Nero. I mean, yes, the Dance of Arrows was nerfed, but now that he's hit level 11 and he's maxed it out, it's pretty much the same as it was before. And I mean, impressive stuff from this guy. 4, 3, and 3. Yeah, he's died a couple times, but I feel like that one play has made up for any of his called out before because Melty are going to get this tier 1 in the top and extend their gold lead even further.
5K gold in the lead when the pressure is off for Melty. These guys can't make Challenger.
Where was this team yesterday?
5K gold lead. These guys are crushing it.
They had a day off. They reevaluated and they were like, let's crush some dreams.
It's like, yeah, no matter what happens, we want to destroy someone's dreams. And right now, it's LP's dreams who are on the line. This is phenomenal play coming in from Melty.
Just for a little bit. Oh, hang on. Actually, just for a replay, we're going to see this 1v1 outplay. So he has 5% damage reduction, right?
Boom.
Right.
Dodges.
He gets
Does
hit by, that's 2 vital points. He avoids the parry.
Tries to block the third
Gets
proc.
the fourth. He gets the fourth proc right at the end, but it doesn't matter because Nero, using the Wolf passive, the Mounting Dread passive as well, helped him win out that trade. But I mean, he didn't even have any armor. I mean, he just has a lot of attack speed. We do have to remember that
24 additional AP and AD, which may actually balance out the
that is a very valid point.
And a Skirmisher Saber.
But the problem is he's got like no AD anyway. He has one item. His the Skirmisher, the Blood Razor, only gives him attack speed.
Yeah, but that one item, that 155 attack damage item, has put him up to 165 attack damage.
All right, valid point.
It's pretty strong.
Valid point. Yep, I can agree with that. Right, so Nero, well played. Niski having a bit of a shaky performance so far. He's managed to land 1 or 2 good Azir ultimates, but other than that, he has just pretty much been caught out. Struggling so far to have a massive impact on this Azir, but once you complete your 2 big items, which he has now done, likely working towards the Rylai's next.
And we got to remember, Nero has 4 stacks. He's going to be able to burn this one down pretty quickly. Niski's here as well. The team is descending on this. This is completely warded out. Fiora's on the bottom side. Victor's coming in. This is a massive risk for the team. I think they just have to back off here. There's no way they stay on this.
Yeah, no, the teleport's going to come in through Kex, and that's going to force Melty to immediately disengage. Notice that Kurdos actually ended up taking a lot of damage from the retreat of Melty right there, but Melty guys, you're playing really well. Don't throw it away over a Baron.
But the thing is that they still came out on top, right? They didn't lose anything, and they gained the TP from Fiora. That's actually pretty massive coming in if they want to keep trying to force this.
Certainly is. The teleport is still available on Sebex, so they still have that global pressure if Melty tried to make that play once again. But I feel like the priority could very well be the Drake for Melty, because it is going to be spawning in a minute. It is the Mountain Drake as well, which will help a lot in setting up for your siege, as well as taking down these epic monsters.
Let's skip Mountain Drake. Let's talk about the Drake after Mountain Drake. I want to talk about 48% AD and AP.
Because you get 50% bonus from the Elder Dragon, so it would be 36. You get 36. 36% bonus AB and AD, which is still pretty ridiculous in its own right.
Yeah, and additional true damage over time.
Yep, that is a little bit insane.
All right.
But it only lasts 2 minutes, so you only have a small window to take advantage of it.
Oh, small window for Niski to make it out of this one. He's going to put it to good use. Chaos Storm chasing him down. Just on the end there. Getting caught on the turret a little bit. But now Melty look like they maybe make a play. Memento not going to tank the binding. LP grouped in this mid lane. They're trying to make an impact, but Azir doing so much damage already.
So have a look at the side waves, both pushing in favor of Melty right now, which is a perfect position for them to be in to set up for their 4th dragon of the game at only 22 minutes in. So they could very well spawn 5 Drakes this game if things go to plan. But they are actually, it looks like low priority. They're just going to leave the wave up in the top. They're going to keep Sivir there from Melty, and this could actually enable them to take the tier 2 turret. There's only the teleport available from Sevix, and if they use that, then they're going to lose all control of a Baron.
Yep. Drops down. Dragon will fall. Meantime, Melty on the top side, maybe looking for a flank. Niski coming in. Memento potentially all alone. They see Niski. They're not going to try to turn on him. No binding coming out. You just got to wait every time, because you never know when Niski's going to go in. He may be 0, 2, and 4, but he has started some plays that have got his team ahead.
He certainly has, and now that he's hit level 13, his wall is a little bit bigger, so it's slightly easier to land. But notice that Sebex did use his teleport to move up to the top lane as Naro, successfully steals away another mark. So he's now going to be sitting on, I do believe it is 5. Yeah, he's going to be picking up 5 after that. That's Kex.
Oh, no. No, Kex, this is not what you want, my friend. I'm sorry. The parry will not be enough. And Adam grabbing the solo kill, flash from the brush, ultimate used, and the power of Infernal Dragons and the Gangplank crits just proved to be too much.
Essence Reaver finished as well for Adam alongside his Trinity Force means that he is one scary bro. Picking up that solo kill means that he is going to draw so much attention from the rest of low priority, and with only the teleport available on Kex, who is currently dead, this is a great opportunity for Melty to look for that Baron.
They have positioned around it. The vision was cleared out. Kurdos taking a lot of damage in that exchange, but does manage to clear out that ward. New one yet to be placed. Gragas moving over, taking his time. Will finally drop one in the pit. Melty can clear it, but they don't need to just yet. We're moving forward. You can obviously see Gangplank is incredibly far ahead. 213 CS to 143. He's ready for the Flame Horizon. Just 30 creeps off.
Oh, wow.
Has picked up the pieces now for the Infinity Edge, waiting on that pickaxe and that combined cost. But 3-item Gangplank, absolutely terrifying to play against. And the rest of the team doing incredibly well. You don't have the farm leads in every lane, but Sivir also backing this one up, working towards her 3rd item already, while Lucian has just finished the core of this new build, Black Cleaver and Youmuu's.
So the thing that we were discussing during Champion Select was the fact that Melty had no tank. They had no solid front line to be sort of the facilitator or the big, beefy guy that LP have to get around during these big team fights. And the thing for Melty is they've never actually had a full 5v5 team fight. They've always looked for skirmishes. They've always gone for the 2v2s, the 3v3s, and in some instances, the 2 versus 4. So Melty, by constantly playing like this, they've never needed a tank.
Looks like it might be the 2 versus 1. Sebek's actually going to get knocked back. He does get hit by that. Gravity Storm goes down, or Chaos Storm rather, but TP is going to get canceled. Great engage by Niski. Nero, the benefactor of that glorious Shurima Shuffle.
Exactly what you were talking about. Niski is the guy you have to be very wary of. Yes, he is sitting at 0 and 2, but he's not afraid to make those Shurima Shuffle plays. He catches Sebex off guard, and even after burning the flash, flash. Niski is still able to land that ultimate, which easily sets up Nero to get the damage down and get another kill. And now, with no teleports available on low priority, Melty have a number of options.
On the hunt comes in. Nero goes over the wall. No fear. There's 2 members there, but he just doesn't care. He's going to keep dueling out. Walks running back, waiting for the exhaust. Double kill for the Gangplank. Adam, the playmaker for the team, and they're going to back off and set their sights on Baron. Melty are dominating low priority.
Melty, with the hyper-aggressive play around Baron, know that they have the numbers advantage. They know that Sebex has no TP, and they know that they are strong enough to force a 5 versus 4 team fight. They completely split up low priority. Their target focus was perfectly on point, and let's just have a look at exactly how they were able to do that. They land the initial binding onto Gragas, preventing him from following up. 3 versus 1 to quickly take Fiora out of the equation, and Gangplank is just going to start cleaning up the fight with that phenomenally powerful ultimate, cutting off the escape route of low priority, picking themselves up 3 kills in total when you consider Victor as well as the Baron is going to extend their gold lead to 10k.
10,000 gold. Melty eSports. 0-3 in the tournament thus far. Low priority 3-0. This is the win that they need.
Bit of a fan favorite.
Yeah.
And now we can see how they beat Millennium.
We talked a lot about French pride for Melty eSports. And there's not a whole lot else on the line. But they are going to crush the dreams of LP if they win this game. They're going to make it so much harder for them to advance. And they are doing France proud. This is insanely well-coordinated League of Legends plays. And each individual member just out-dueling the opposition. You can see 6, 2, and 3 from Adam. The only person who has to sacrifice anything on this team is Niski.
And Melty hold the achievement of being the only team so far to kill Sebex twice. He has died more in this game than he has throughout the rest of the tournament. I mean, Melty are just performing, and the way in which they executed the lane swap, their priorities around the Infernal Drakes, they've just played this game phenomenally. And while LP have found picks, and Niski in particular, he has been called out a couple times, it's not like Melty have played flawlessly, but they have definitely not played like this at any other stage of the tournament.
You can see the split push pressure coming out now. There's leaving that Gangplank on the bottom side. As we talked about earlier in the Champions, like Fiora doing her best to dodge out those barrels. And the pressure from the Azir and the Sivir starting to come in. You can see Gangplank. He's finished up that eye. He's hitting like a truck.
Oh, man. That sword is so spiky, there's nothing you can do about it.
It's the spikes that can make it all the crit damage.
Yeah, exactly. So, Melty, they are going to go for the 1-4 split push. You have a lot of poke with Azir. He's going to be forcing a lot of damage down onto Memento, and this is going to set up nicely for the siege of Melty. The problem for Melty is they do have the low-range AD carry of Sivir, which means that when you get close to that Victor, it can be a little bit dangerous. So now, Melty splitting up their sources a little bit, but it doesn't matter.
Look at Adam moving in. He wants to get the tower. He's just going to auto it down. Kex running for his life. You can see how much damage those crits hit for. Is going to grab that one now, moving into the inhibitor. Isn't going to have a chance to heal up quite yet, but Kex will be back in a moment. Meanwhile, the rest of Melty pushing in on the top side, putting that Baron buff to use as the Azir Sand Soldier poke starts to come in. Walk taking a lot of damage. He's not going to get burned down quite yet. Lamb's Respite comes in, but he backsteps. Nero's going to be next on the menu. A giant misstep from Melty is going to relieve the pressure, but Adam is moving into the mid.
It's not that bad for Melty. Yes, they overcommitted just a little bit. Once that inhibitor was down in the bottom lane, they should have just immediately disengaged. But low priority, they just kept getting poked down every time Melty got a little bit too close to the turret. And this is the problem with their low range setup. When you have the Sivir, when you have the Kindred, it is quite difficult to get within range to start beating down onto that tower. So you end up taking a lot of poke down from the side of LP. They capitalize by getting a crap ton of damage down onto Wax. The full channel ultimate from Sebex, forcing both the heal and ultimate. Just have a look at Wax right now. He oversteps just a little bit. He's going to take a bit of damage from the barrel, and then Sebex is just going to walk up, drop his ult, and there it is. The slight overstep result in Wax just losing all of his health, allowing Memento to get the cleanup. And Nero, while it's a very pretty Lamb's Respite, unfortunately not going to be able to benefit from that whatsoever.
Really shiny, really gold, not unfortunately effective at this stage of the game. And you can see the gold continues to be 10k in Melty's favor. LP, I believe, all they bought themselves was a little bit more time. Maybe another opportunity to look for a fight on their terms, because with this massive of a lead, even without Baron, Melty may just continue to split push.
Well, let's just look at the options that Melty have right now. They have an inhibitor down in the bottom lane. The Baron isn't going to spawn anytime soon. And we've already seen that when Melty gets too close to the turret, it becomes very easy for low priority to just stall things out. So what Melty need to do is not do this.
No, Kurdos in trouble, trying to back out. No Lamb's Respite available, and that means Nero is going to have to run for his life. Just a few seconds off cooldown. Niski throwing damage back, but they lose a member so quickly. Once again, LP making moves to get back in the game.
Melty, they're being a little bit too over-aggressive. Kurdos, oh, look at Zaitan.
Oh, Zaitan, flashback, 3 forward! What an ultimate, Niski! Dishing out the damage, soldiers come forward. Memento, no help. Adam with the ultimate on the backside. Sevix is trying to get something back, but that is the play that they needed. Melty, explosive.
Oh my word, Niski, I take back everything I've said about you this game because that was a beautiful ultimate onto 3 members of low priority. Melty could end the game.
Running forward, Adam manages to pick up the kill. They burn down the gangplank, but Fiora is next. The shutdown. One auto comes forward, flashes to safety, but that's the second inhibitor dropping. Melty eSports playing out of their minds. They're poised to end the game. 3 members down. 3 carries strong, moving into the base. Sevix 38 seconds away. Starting to burn down. Braum taking some decent damage. So many low health bars. Kex getting cleaned up, though, in this fight. They're just going to take the inhibitor tower, rather the Nexus tower, and walk it out, though. Melty, let's watch this again.
So we're going to get a replay. First, Kurdos ends up getting caught out. Really big misplay from him. Nero has to flash immediately after because he doesn't have the Lamb's Respite. And Niski's like, guys, look, I can see a play happening. It's forming right in my eyes. And notice that Gragas going to base on a ward. Niski sees this as an opportunity, and he goes for the fantastic Shurima Shuffle. 3 members, low priority flash, but they just flash into a gangplank.
Oh my god, it's the worst part. It's like this moment where they're like, oh, we're just going to flash to safety. I thought it was going to be bad when the cannon barrage was not layered on top of your zero, but it's like, listen, you got 2 choices. You die to the team or you die to the cannon barrage.
It was just so good from Melty. I'm just really impressed. 18-14 right now, 12k in the lead. Baron has to be the next objective for Melty. They have 2 inhibitors taken down. The bottom lane one likely to respawn relatively soon, but there is no teleport for Kex right now. Adam can just keep the pressure up in the bottom half of the map. He can continue his fantastic split push game, but they're going to be able to take this insanely quickly. They have the 3 Infernal Drakes as well as a Mountain. They have a full-blown Volcano right now, and they're going to use that to just pick this Baron up and end the game.
Is there anything left for low priority? I mean, like, what options do they have left to end this game?
Gragas could get a fantastic ultimate. Low priority get a pick. Question is, can they do it before this Baron's gone?
It's getting burned down. Oh my gosh. 3 members hitting it. 3 carries are hitting it. 4 now that the gangplank is in there. Instantly deleted. Memento doesn't even have a chance to get over that wall. They're going to take their time. They're going to back out here. But at this point, it's the closeout.
Melty, the hero that Group A needed, but is it the one that they deserved? I mean, just really impressive performance.
Not the hero that LP needed. LP needed the Melty from day 1 or day 2 or day 3. But day 4 Melty, let me tell you, completely different beast. Adam getting aggressive. LP, last shot. 1 more play. They have to make it count. Surprise, not going to be enough. Moving forward, not going to get the cask. Beautiful black shield onto Niski. Kex suddenly left all alone. He's going to take a ton of poke damage here. And I think that was LP's last shot, and it missed.
So, Melty, they had to use a couple of resources there. Notice that the Emperor's Divide as well as On the Hunt are now not up for Melty. Sebex still has his ultimate. The culling is still there. Fiora still has her damaging ultimate as well. So low priority do have the spell advantage, but do they have the damage advantage?
Oh, moving in. Low priority. Maybe looking for something else.
Oh my word. Look at the poke coming out from Niski. That is horrible. That is 3 Inferno Drakes right there. I don't think LP liked this mixtape whatsoever.
Moving in. Oh man, this is...
Look at the slow bleed from that cannon.
It's so hard to watch. It's like the slowest death ever. Lamb's Respite's going to go down. Just going to use it for the healing there, keeping them alive. Oh, they want to get the fight. 2 people knocked up. Jumping out is where's the gravity field? It's not going to come in quick enough because Cannon Barrage is going to pick up one. Siver's going to pick up the other. Kex and Memento off to the side, but they're running for their lives. My God, the crits! Burning through those health bars, moving in. 3rd inhibitor's going to drop. Adam just doesn't even care. Finally, gonna proc up there, eat some oranges so it's K. They're looking to end this one. Niski, 1 more Emperor's Divide. Melty with the win from nowhere means that this, for them, they gotta crush the dreams, and today those dreams are of low priority. And my God, what an upset coming in here. And here's
insane.
Here's the big thing. Melty won there, right? Fnatic are now, I believe, out of contention.
Yes, they are 1-3, same score as Melty. They cannot, because at the moment you have SK lost to Misfits, so they're at 3-1, I believe. Misfits are at 3-1, Low Priority at 3-1.
Yeah, there's just no chance.
Tricked are at 2-2.
They needed win out here from Low Priority, so that they just clean sweep the bracket.
Yeah,
and that was it.
That's all Low Priority needed. They needed one win here against the the lowest seeded team in the group so far. I mean, these guys were 0-3. They haven't taken a game off anyone.
Yeah, and with LP and Misfits both at 3-1, of course, that's what shuts down the hope now for Fnatic as well.
Misfits are going to be looking like, ooh, Melty, we love you guys very much. Same for SK Gaming, you know.
There's the chance for that first slot.
Tricked even have an opportunity, as long as Tricked win their next game. Like, I honestly thought Group A was decided. I thought Low Priority, that's it. I mean, I said at the start of this game, Low Priority, the best team in this tournament. Cast a curse, my friend. Every time you try to praise a team.
I think a little more than cast a curse. Melty played out of their minds.
I know, right? I mean, and that's the thing. That is the thing. Low Priority, they definitely made some misplays. The way in which they executed the lane swap, they didn't expect Melty to swap back to standard lanes.
Yeah.
Because Melty, very smartly, they took the Drake, they went back for the 2v2 and the 1 versus 1. That resulted in Kex having to overextend a lot during the laning phase. And we saw that first blood come in from Nero. He moved up to the top, he got that kill, and that set up Gangplank perfectly, who is this phenomenal split push threat.
And I think the big thing is, it's like, we saw so many trades on the map where it was like Melty would get a tower and sorry, I blanked for a second. Low Priority would get a kill. And it was like, oh, Low Priority, they're mechanically outplaying. They're getting these great moments. You saw Victor just barely kill.
And then Nero says, mechanically outplaying?
Oh, yeah. And then just gets a solo kill, right? So it goes from, like, objectives being traded for kills. And Melty just barely coming out ahead every time, but they're getting the objectives. And then suddenly it's like, oh, wait, we have a gold lead on this Kindred. She's going to solo kill someone. And then it's like, oh, wait, now we have 3 Infernal Dragons and a Gangplank. Like, now Fiora's going to get out-dueled.
And Niski, this guy. I mean, early on, I was like, some shaky ultimates. You're 0-2.
Warm up ultimate, I think we can safely say.
It was just like, it's my first game of the day, guys. Let me just brush the sweat off, and then I'm ready to go. Like, this guy, unbelievable ultimate. I look forward. I hope they put that in the replay towards the end. You know, like the highlight rip.
You have to get it.
That was so good. Really impressive stuff.
You might not even be able to tell what's going on because we're both screaming so loud. We're both so high. We're like, what the hell? Where did this come from?
Oh man, Melty.
Oh my God.
Really, really, really cool stuff. I mean, now I can understand. Like, if they'd played like this from day one, they'd be contesting top of the group.
Absolutely. Of course, that game going out. We are going to take a quick break, and we're going to see you back here in just a few minutes for Group B.
Shurima shuffles.